Yeah, so good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We've just had a load of laughter just before we went live, and I thought, let's get cracking sooner rather than later before it gets X-rated. But welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And when I kind of sent up my invites to the people, the lovely people who I like to come on the panel on the Easy Talk, I thought, these guys, they sound like the mafia. I've got IG, you could have been a mafia, Mube Mafia, and Stan the Man. They sound like mafioso, don't they? God, dear me. Anyway, from his short vacation to Jamaica, back in the house is Mube Gune. Mube, blood fire.
I'm here. I'm glad to have you on the show again, man. We are back.
Yeah, back in full effect, man. Blood fire. Stan the Man.
Hi everyone, it's very cold here in Vancouver. We have got snow, and more snow.
Yeah, snow, glorious snow.
It's like Narnia.
Frozen. Anyway, IG is back in the house as well.
Well, as long as we promise to not speak about Mesut Ozil, I'm fine. And congratulations everyone. Thanks for having me, Alex. And most importantly, I think if you still haven't subscribed, please subscribe Cannon Fodder TV, and you're gonna love this show because Mube is in the house.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Listen, before we start,
we talk about Ozil.
We should have a swear jar. The next person that mentions that name, you've got to put £5 into the swear jar.
Only £5.
I think you just have to mention it once. You just have to mention it once.
Let me go ahead and put my 20 in right now.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, this is going to be a fantastic show. I can tell. Dear. But like IG says, this is the Easy Talk every Friday, 7 p.m. UK time, wherever you are in the world. Obviously, it's going to vary. And also, as IG says, make sure you subscribe, share, and like the content on Cannon Fodder TV, which also has the Gooners in Vancouver, led by Stan the Man.
Yeah, you can catch our match reaction videos on Cannon Fodder TV. But also, please leave comments as well, whether you agree or disagree with what we're saying. We want to hear from everybody. So please interact with the videos. There you go.
Right, so the first one we actually want to talk about, one of the first topics, one of many in less than an hour, IG, a movie, was the return of the young ones. Yes. I know we've spoken briefly about Gabriel Martinelli, who's been one of my favourites this season, but also Eddie Nketiah, who was put out on loan to Leeds and he's come back apparently. And Aubameyang, I think the Arsenal kind of tried to get the ban retracted, and the wonderful FA refused us. So Aubameyang is out for the next 3 games. Stan, I'll come to Stan. Stan, what do you think about these two youngsters? Do you think they can make a real impact? Now there's an opportunity because Aubameyang is going to be out for the next 3 games. Do you think they can make a real impact on that opportunity that they will be given sooner rather than later?
Well, originally, Eddie went on loan and it was supposed to be for the whole season. And I think one of the reasons why they called him back early was I think Arsenal were a little bit disappointed that he was not starting a lot of games. Even though he was doing well coming off of the bench, Bielsa seemed to favour Bamford up front. So there was a lot of talk when he came back that he'd be going immediately back out on loan. There was about 3 teams in the Championship that were interested. And I think there were a couple in the Premiership. I think Aston Villa was interested in the services of Eddie to the end of the season. Aubameyang's only out for 3 games. I'm not sure whether keeping Eddie is a result of him missing those 3 games. I don't think Aubameyang probably would have played in the FA Cup game with Bournemouth. And we do have plenty of cover, right? We've got Lacazette, we've got Martinelli. Both of those can play up front. So if we're going to keep Eddie until the rest of the season, I really hope that he gets the minutes, and it's not a case of that he doesn't get enough minutes till the end of the season, and then next season we send him out on loan again. If we're going to keep him, He needs to have minutes. If he's not going to get the minutes, we should send him back out on loan with a view to him coming back, having a good pre-season with us, and then perhaps trying to stake a claim as a backup.
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts about, Martinelli? Has he been like a real surprise, for
Mate,
you?
it's the best thing since the invention of the wheel, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the guy's got such a high ceiling. He's coming from playing not even in the Brazil top league, and he's got about 8 goals now in all competitions. Fantastic. Obviously, I'm sorry that one of our players is going to be missing for 3 games, but I'm quietly excited to see Martinelli being given a starting place in the team to see how he does. And Mikel Arteta kind of said in his press conference that those youngsters that are coming into the squad, he didn't name them, but he's obviously talking about Martinelli and Saka. He wants them to show him why they're at Arsenal and that they're good enough to be as good as or even better than those players that they're replacing. And that was kind of what he was saying. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Muba, what's your thoughts? I know the last time we spoke, Emery was the coach, and now we've got Mikel Arteta. How do you think these 2 youngsters, will be effective in the absence of Aubameyang?
IG, don't start this. We're not going to do that today. Laughing. As soon as you say Emery, start laughing. We're not going to do this.
Keep it together, guys. Come on.
All right, but yeah, the youngsters, man. I agree with what Stan said about Nketiah. We all expected him to go back out on loan. Like he said, he was supposed to stay at Leeds for the rest of the season. But if he's going to stay there and come off the bench, he might as well stay here and come off the bench. It's just, he wasn't getting enough game time. I did want to see him go back on loan because you want to see him play 90 minutes or start most of the game. But he's really not going to get that here. The one thing that I'm looking forward to is the Arteta seemed to favor Lacazette and Aubameyang playing together. With them playing together, you have a space up front because both of our strikers are on the field at the same time, and you don't really have that much strike force on the bench. We have Martinelli, yeah, but I'd rather see him play as a winger rather than playing as a starting, 9 up front. Now that Aubameyang is out, I like to see Martinelli play on that left wing because I think he's better playing on the wing. He bring that energy because he gets back, he closed down, so I like to see him play on the wing because he's a good striker also, but I like to see him come in from the wing rather than starting up front. He did that in the cup games a couple of times in the Europa League this season, but when he's playing from the left, most of our games, when we won away at West Ham, we were playing the one striker up front, which was Aubameyang. He was playing on the left wing, and that's where he scored from. That was one of our better games of the season. Pepe on the right, he was on the left. Aubameyang was playing up front. So I think he's a lot better from that game, from that position. Same thing when we play at the Emirates against Manchester City. He was one of the standout players in a dreadful day that we had at the Emirates. But playing from the left wing, he was doing what he was supposed to do, closing down players. And I think he can bring a lot to this team. I'm not worried. I'm not going to say I'm not worried about Aubameyang being suspended because he's our top scorer. He's the only one that's pretty much scoring all our goals right now. But I have confidence in Lacazette, as you already know. He hasn't scored in a long time, but I have all the confidence in him. Playing up front on his own with 2 wingers, it probably can benefit him a little bit more. So hopefully they can take this opportunity, man. I have no doubt that, especially Martinelli, because we're seeing him do it this year. He has like 8 goals already. We're seeing him do it. Nketiah, on the other hand, he's just coming back from a loan spell. So how fit is he from? We see Leeds come to the Emirates, and we see how they play. They play a high possession, high press game also. So I think his fitness level should be where it's required to be. We have a lot of games coming too. We have the FA Cup coming up. We still have the Europa League coming up. To be honest, I hate to see, and even in the group stage, we were seeing Lacazette and Aubameyang playing in the group stage against these teams that they shouldn't even be on the field against. I really don't care about the Europa League. I probably need to now because we're not going to finish top 4. But these are games that he can play in and do a little bit better. So I want to see him go out on loan, but he's here now. So Just give him a chance to see what he can do. I don't know how much minutes he's gonna get, but I hope, like Stan said, I hope he can get 20 minutes here and there a game.
IG, do you think there's a possibility that because we're laud and we're so like hyped about Gabriel Martinelli, do you think there was a possibility that Arsenal could burn him out because he's only 18 years of age?
But I think the way he has stepped up whenever he's got the opportunity, I don't think so. I think he's ready for a burnout. I think he's wanting those. I mean, if you see him, he's the only live wire on that attacking field whenever he comes on the field. I mean, even during Crystal Palace game, I think when we were trying for a decisive goal, he was kind of linking up. So I think it all depends upon Arteta. I believe that even in his press conference about Eddie Nketiah, he was asked, I mean, whether he'll be loaned out or not. He said no. I think, and also there were mentions in the media which suggested that Arteta has seen something about Nketiah in the training, and that's why he has decided not to loan him out. So I think if your main striker who scored 14 odd goals for you, if he's out, and if you are getting a youth academy player who's gone to championship and scored some goals off the bench, if you have somebody there, if you're losing a player, obviously you need somebody else for those 3 games. And if you're getting a striker like Eddie Nketiah, I think even during the last, towards the end of last season as well, he had some goals for Arsenal. So I don't have any doubt in terms of the quality. It's all about the game plan that Arteta sets up. And I believe if Nketiah can get into it, and if Arteta has seen something, he's going to make use of it. But I think he's definitely going to be coming off the bench.
Stan, in the last podcast, we spoke about actually Alexander Lacazette and how he's gone through a barren spell as it stands.
Yeah.
Are you worried about that barren spell that he's going through? He'll go through it. He'll be all right.
We discussed this yesterday. I was on Arsenal Fan Circle podcast yesterday, and we spoke a little bit about Alexander Lacazette. Obviously, you can only go about what you see of the player in training and when he's playing, but he does kind of come across like the sort of chap that very much wears his heart on his sleeve. You can kind of tell when he's in a bad mood. You can tell when he's in a really happy mood. He's quite sort of, he shows you what his emotions are, and there doesn't seem to be very much in between. He hasn't looked happy for me. His body language towards the end of Emery's tenure looked quite bad, and it looked bad under the beginning of Mikel Arteta. But the one thing is that you have to say is that he does work extremely hard. One of the qualities that I like about Alexander Lacazette is he's able to create goals for himself out of nothing. He can be sort of like on a tight angle on the right-hand side of the box with 3 players around him, and for somehow he'll manage to wriggle out with the ball at his feet and then have a shot at a very, very tight angle and score. And I think that's a quality that is important for the team. I'm a little bit worried that his goal-scoring numbers seem to have dropped off quite a lot since he moved from France. I was just looking at his figures before he came on, and there's like 28 goals a season. 20 goals a season, 24 goals a season, those kind of numbers. But for us, the most he's ever scored in this season is 14. So he's kind of, if you're looking at it just as statistics, he's kind of in that Giroud area for us. You know what I mean? He's not sort of like seems to be getting more than 15 to 17 goals. But I still think that he has a part to play in this squad. I still think that he's a very valuable player to this squad. And those people that are saying that we should be considering moving him on for Thomas Lemar, I just don't see that at all. I think we really need the service of Alexander Lacazette. And somebody like Arteta is probably going to be able to keep that smile on his face for longer periods than Unai Emery was able to, which should mean that we'll get a better performance out of him, hopefully.
Mube, Lacazette is your guy, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're not worried about.
I'm really not worried about Lacazette, to be honest, because he is getting in. He is creating his own chances. He's getting assists. The goal that we scored the last game, he created it for Aubameyang. He's not scoring, but he's doing everything else that's required of him. And I think the high intensity game that Arteta is bringing in is having a toll on him. Because you can see by the time it takes. You remember when Wenger was here? He used to take him off the field 70 minutes every game, every single game. He never passed 70 minutes on the field. And you can see the same effect it's having on him now because he's catching cramp 75 minutes in the game because he have to be playing this high press game that we're trying to play now, something that the players wouldn't be used to under the old manager. Now they have to switch up the whole game plan and play a different. And that's why I think it's kind of a good idea to keep Nketiah because now you have somebody else that can come on with 20 minutes left and keep up that intensity up front. Because if you notice in the games that we're playing now, we start these games well. We start the first half well, we start the second half well, and then it gets to the end of the game, everybody's tired, because of the kind of high tempo game that we're playing now. So, with like I said, I'm not really worried about him. I have every positive vibes about him. I think, and I will put money on it on him scoring this weekend. I'll put money on that him scoring this weekend.
How much money?
I put
Don't answer that question.
That's that $20 on Zill's money. We're going to double that up.
Ruben, Stan did say that Lacazette is a player who shows the emotion. When he's happy, you can obviously see he's happy. When he's upset, you can see he's upset.
Yeah.
Don't you think he needs to keep that a little bit more in check? Because one thing I've noticed a lot more is that the referees will blow up the whistle at every opportunity when it comes to Lacazette. And that's one thing that really frustrates him. So don't you think he needs to keep that under check more? Don't show it. Don't just carry on.
It's something that you can't. It's something that you're not going to really take away from him because that's just him as a person. That's how he always been. And when you're a person, when you get on the field, your personality is going to come out. When you have a reaction to something bad, everybody react different to different stuff, and that's just the person that he is. I don't have a problem with him. I think he's a passionate player. Like Stan said, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll give 100 every game. He leaves everything on that field every single game. You can see him talking to players. When players make mistakes, he's one of them on the field that's telling them to come on. He always trying to put pressure on the opposition. He's always trying to lift his teammates. That's just the person that he is. And I think we need one or two of those players in this team. As crazy as Socrates can be in the back, he's not a good defender, but the personality that he has, you need somebody like that in the back line to be there. He's not good defensively as a player, but that personality that he brings to the team, you need one or two of those in the team. Everybody can't be, Martinelli or run around and smile and energetic. You're not going to get that. You have to find that good matchup of players with grit, players with skill. Everything got to be different, and you just match him up. So I don't have a problem with him. He's not happy now because he's not scoring, and I'm okay with that. The striker, he wants to be scoring. He missed the chance the other day at Crystal Palace. He's missing some easy chances. Don't get me wrong. He's missing a lot of sitters that he usually tuck away. But I just know once that next one goes in, he's going to be on a roll, and I think he's going to get it this weekend. Matter of fact, he's going to get 2 this weekend.
Would you put money on that?
Money on the same 20. We can double it up. Let's go.
Look who bailed out on Mesut Ozil again.
Oh, that means some money in the pot for that.
Yeah.
IG, what are your thoughts on Lacazette? Are you not worried about this spell that he's going through? And as each game goes by, you can see his frustration levels keeps going higher and higher and higher. And I hope he doesn't get sent off. Are you not worried about him? No?
I think yes, sometimes yes, but I think it's more. I think you should. I think I love the fact that what Mobe said. It's about the intensity of the game that has actually changed. You can actually see him, not tracking back. He's trying to do that in most part of the games, but you can still see him actually, trying to adjust his game a little bit. But yes, I think I'm a little worried because he's sometimes it's too much of aggression that I can see him, play too much of his foul play. But I think I think when Aubameyang is definitely not on that pitch, I think he has the responsibility, and we all know that he has been very good in terms of our link up play. The goal that I think the first goal that was there, I think it was a very good flick, which set up Aubameyang from the left hand side, which where he actually cut in and he actually scored the goal. So I think this time around, Lacazette has more pressure in terms of scoring goals now. So I think he's going to be the upfront striker, and obviously Martinelli could start on the left hand side. So we all know that Nketiah will be on the bench. So he has more responsibility, and I think Arteta knows that he's been one of the wasteful strikers in the recent games. I mean, he's been set up a lot of times, but those easy chances have not been converted. Or either I think the opposition defenders have actually read him well, and they would have made a good block. So I think Lacazette needs to up his game, and all I would want to say is, if he is the Lacazette that we know, I think he needs to convert those chances. And as what Mube said, I would really love to see a hat trick, bro.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's about time. It's about time. Anyone's just passing by, watching us live, or maybe at a later stage when we upload this segment of an Easy Talk, I've got the Cannon for the Mafia back together again. Yeah, Stan the Man. Sounds like a fearsome name there, man. A Mube Guna. And IG's in the house. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like to Cannon for TV on all platforms. The other thing we actually wanted to talk about, there's no one coming to the chat yet, was actually the game tomorrow. Yes, we're playing against Chris Wilder's Sheffield United again. And I don't do any more previews anymore, because thanks to Stan the Man and the Gooners in Vancouver, they do that for us. In regards to a prediction, I can't see us personally beating Sheffield United. They're so well organised. They're so well drilled there. And I think in regards to Arsenal, we're still a work in progress. There's lots of tweaking. We need to bring in some players, get rid of some players. But for that reason, I think it's going to be a draw. Stan, I didn't see you the Fan Circle podcast yesterday, but what are your thoughts on the game for tomorrow?
Well, Mobe made a very good point, and it's probably the point that worries me most about tomorrow, and that is that Arsenal in the second half, after about 50, 55, 60 minutes under Arteta, because of the fitness, the players seem to be really tired. They're running around with cramp, and they're breathing out of their asses, basically. Now, if you look at the stats for the Sheffield United, they've been very good on the road. They've had a lot of wins and a lot of draws away from home. And all of their goals, the high majority of their goals, they seem to come from the 75th minute onwards. So if you put those two things together, I'm quite worried about that section of the game. You know, if we're not 1 or 2 goals up by that point, then it's going to be a draw or a loss, I feel, because Chris Wilder has those guys drilled very well. And I was looking at a compressed highlights of the last time that we played them in October. And if you look at the stats on paper, it makes out that the game was quite even. I remember if you watch that game back, it wasn't even at all. And we were under a lot of pressure in that game. And Nicolas Pepe had a couple of chances that he couldn't quite put away. But other than that, it was a real, they really had us hemmed back into our own half. And that's something I was talking about yesterday as well. When we get tired, what happens is that we revert back to Emery ball. It's like the team forgets everything that Arteta has told them. And then when we get tired, we revert playing very, very deep. And it's almost as if, David Luiz wants to have, Leno as his centre-back partner. That's how deep that we go. And when that happens, the other teams just keep coming forward, and then we start messing around, trying to work the ball out from the back, and that's when we get into a lot of trouble. Leno will kick the ball out, but one of the opposition forwards is running towards us. He'll pick up the ball, and then there's panic. So I'm really worried about the late stages of the game tomorrow.
But Stan, there's just one other thing that kind of worries me still at this point, even under Arteta, is that sometimes, during the game, when the opposition are pushing up on us, there's still opportunities for Leno to think that it's a good idea to play the ball short to whether it's Socrates or Luiz, when clearly they've been marked.
Yeah.
What is the thought process? What is Leno thinking, or maybe he's not thinking?
I honestly,
Clearly, the defenders are already marked, and he still wants to play the ball out from the back.
I honestly believe that that style of play is a hangover from Unai Emery, and it's just going to take Mikel Arteta a little bit more time to completely iron that piece out of their style of play. Because the other bad trait that I see what they do is, and I see Martinelli starting to do it as well. We work the ball all the way up to the pitch, and then we just get near the opposition's penalty box, and then we'll kick the ball all the way back down to the other end of the field. You know, and I was really worried. I think it was the Leeds game. Martinelli came on, and he done exactly the same thing. And I nudged Mike next to me in the pub, and I says, "Is this bad habit now rubbing off on Martinelli?" Because he was all the way up into the last third of the pitch, and he just kicked the ball back. And these are the two things that I think are to do with a loss of confidence. Sometimes players not maybe wanting to make a killer pass or worried about taking on a shot, so they take the easy option and pass the ball back, and then we've got to reset. And I just hope that these are things, if we can see them, I'm sure Mikel Arteta sees them and will do his best to iron these creases out of their play.
IG, what's your thoughts about, again, Arsenal playing the second game now against Chris Wilder's Sheffield United?
Well, I believe the whole problem is that Chris Wilder is smart enough to understand Arsenal's mistakes. I mean, the first game was really quite evident of the fact, and it's all about how they counterattack. Because I think it's all about the organization that we just show our passion for the first 20 minutes, first 25 minutes, and then we wait for the referee to tell us it's half time. It's something like that. So I think it's all about the intensity. I think this is something Arteta has to understand as well. But you need to understand one thing, that Chris Wilder knows Arsenal's all weaknesses, and he's definitely going to attack all of them. And the best part is that he has all his players well organized, well drilled, and well known of the fact that Arsenal's attack gets killed off in the opposition's third, like the final third. Arsenal's are quite wasteful, and I'm really surprised you didn't mention that. I think Granit Xhaka will be the captain, I guess, in Aubameyang's absence. I think that's also a very brave decision, and I think I hope the fans will start respecting Xhaka for it, and that is gonna be there. But I think Sheffield United are very tough opponents. I believe. I don't know. I'm hopeful that Nicola Pepe can do something special.
Mube, your thoughts about the game tomorrow?
I agree. I agree with what the guy said about the game tomorrow. It's going to be a tough game, obviously. I mean, they're good away from home. They win away at Spurs. They have good performance everywhere they go. Even the few games that they lost on the road this season, they really have played well. The problem we're having now it's the confidence thing. Playing out from the back, it's a problem that we had before Mikel Arteta. Since Emery come in, when we had Petr Cech in goal, we put Leno in goal. It's the same thing, and it's the same problem that we had, and it's still the problem that we had. Now we see that Manchester City when Pep Guardiola came in, and they tried to do that too. They had the same problem until you figure it out. It's going to take a little bit of time. We're doing better at it, but it's just like you said. You want Lennon to be a little bit more smart with it, to know when to play it long and not play it to a guy half a feet away from him. You just can't take those risks. We're doing better defensively. We're not conceding as much goal as we are. We're not conceding as much chances as we are either. It's just in the final part of the game when we get tired, old habits seem to creep in. But I think if we can start strong out in this game, we need to take our chances, and that's what. Defensively, we're giving up goal, but the problem is we're not taking our chances. If you look at the Crystal Palace game, Pepe should have scored a second goal. Lacazette should have scored a second goal. We could have been 3-0 up by halftime. We didn't take our chances. And then when we get tired in the second half, it comes back to bite us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take our chances. We're not that good defensively, so offensively, we got to be at our best. Take our chances when they come. When we play Sheffield United away from home, we know that we wasn't good defensively, but we didn't take our chances in that game. Pepe had a wide open goal. He missed it. We didn't take our chances in that game. And And like Stan said, we don't want to see these players be cowards. A lot of people are giving Nicolo Pepe stick because he lose the ball a lot, but he's brave. That's why he lose the ball a lot, because he's willing to take 2 or 3 players on. He's not going to pass the ball backwards. He never does that. When he gets the ball, he's looking to play it, run into space, and get it back. And that's what you want from your wingers. They're going to lose the ball. You know, they're going to give possession away a lot, but that's what you want from your wingers. You want him to be brave, take players on, and when he get in a position to score a goal, he has to take his chances or pick a pass to somebody that's going to take the chance. So I'm very confident about the game tomorrow. The fact that we are at home, the fact that we had a week off is going to make a big difference, I think, because we haven't played since we played on the weekend against Crystal Palace. So the fact that we had a week off too, that probably come into our favor. We're playing at home, and I think we'll win this game, man. Like I said, I expect big game from Lacazette, and just like you say, maybe the pressure of Aubameyang not being there. He knows that he's the guy now. You have to do what you have to do. Everything is on your shoulder, and I think if he get a chance this weekend, I'm praying that he take it.
Yeah. Guys, just a couple of things. We did a poll on Canrefoy TV in regards to actually various issues. One of which was, now there's going to be a new winter break in February for the Premier League teams. Do you think that will serve us well, or do you think we need to build up some momentum? Because I think personally, I think top 4 is out of our reach now. The best way into the Champions League is through the Europa League. So my question to you is, actually, before I get into that, in this transfer window, do you think Arsenal are going to really do any business? Do you think we're really going to buy a player? I know the names have been lauded and been put out on social media, but Stan, do you think Arsenal actually going to go into the market and get maybe 1, 2, or maybe 3 players?
I'm still trying to get over. I just heard you say that we're having a winter break in February. When did that happen? Who decided that?
Yeah.
How long have I been asleep for then? When did this?
Yeah.
It's the first time I'm hearing of it, man.
Yeah, I would just say here, it's come from, it says that Arsenal are due to have no games between February the 3rd and the 15th because of a new winter break policy. But if they do are in action, they will have like the FA Cup 4th round. And those games or the replay will be between the 4th and the 5th of February. So it's something that I actually have heard about. There's going to be a new winter break for the Premier League.
Going forward now every year.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll have to absorb that a little bit. But I'm not sure if I like that, to be honest. A month without football just after Christmas. I'm gonna have to think about that one. But regarding the what we're going to do in January, I really think that we're going to have at least three players coming. I don't know how it's going to be made up. I can see maybe 1 purchase and 2 loans, or maybe 2 purchases and a loan, because we definitely are short in a lot of areas, you know. And as I said yesterday, Ainsley Maitland-Niles playing at right back and Saka playing at left back. It's great that they're coming in and they're helping us out by doing a job for us there, but they really shouldn't be thought of anything other than, you know, just covering in those positions. You know, that's all they are. They are stop gaps, you know, and a stop gap means that we need to try and find a better answer. I was just reading this morning that we're looking at buying, and it looks like it's actually happening because it was on Arsblog. A left back from Paris Saint-Germain, who I'd never heard of until yesterday, Livin Kazwaga. I don't know.
Kurzawa.
And I'd never heard of him before, so I started to do a little bit of reading to find out who this guy was. And the one thing that jumped out at me was, I'll just find it here for you. I've got it to hand. Arsblog pointed out that there was a Get French Football News. This is what they had to say about him. They said, Djurbukian, the agent, outside influence at Arsenal, becoming a bit uncanny. Shades of Riola at PSG in 2012-2013. And then he goes on to say, Lavin Kurzawa is exceptionally injury prone criminally unfit and has not been playing regular football for the best part of the last 4.5 years. So that's probably why we've never heard of him, because we've not seen him. He's not actually been on a football pitch. So that's all I know about him. But I mean, this is Arsenal, right? This is the same. They told us that we were not connected to Nicolas Pepe in any shape or form, and he plays for Arsenal now. So I'm not going to try and second guess them. There are some people that I would like to see come in. Obviously, I've got my own little wish list, but I think we need at least 3, 2 centre backs and a midfielder. But one last caveat on that. I was thinking yesterday as well. I've been saying that maybe we should have 2 centre backs. But you know what? Thinking about it, maybe we only need 1. If we look at Liverpool before they put in Van Dijk, they had quite a lot of central defenders there, and it didn't matter what combination you put them in, they always seemed to be lacking. As soon as Virgil van Dijk came in, it doesn't matter now. Of the ones that they've kept, you can put any one of them next to Virgil van Dijk, and you still get a tidy performance in the centre of defence. We need to try. I don't know how you identify a player like that, but we need to identify a central defender that has that similar quality, who could maybe bring more out of Socrates, bring more out of David Luiz, can maybe help bring on a young player like Saliba when he joins us next year. Because if we don't get a central defender like that, then we need 2. We need 2 good defenders or 1 outstanding one who can make other players come up to a higher level.
IG, do you know any more information about this fullback that we're supposedly linked to? Because the only bits of his I've read is that he's good going forward, which sounds familiar. Like Stan says, he hasn't played too much football, and he has had some off the field issues as well. So do you know any more information?
Well, about Levin Kurzawa, I think he's the only defender in the Champions League history who has ever got a hat-trick. So that's one of the biggest thing that actually wants me to bring him. And attacking wise, he'll be somewhat similar to what Hector Bellerin is, but you can't expect much pace from him. He's quite injury prone, yes, and it is actually somewhere around. I
think there's some feedback on your mic. Some feedback. Is it on your microphone or is it there's some feedback on the microphone? Okay, carry on talking. It's stopped now. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Wow. No, I just felt like the biggest culprit over here.
Yeah, there's some kind of feedback, or a cable is not connected properly, or there's something.
It's the police trying to tune in on the mafia conversation.
Well, at least there's one gangster in the house.
There you go. The FBI trying to tune in on the conversation.
All right, so IG, continue.
And also about Kurzawa, I think he has actually recently changed his agent as well. So it looks like he wants a move, and I think he would be coming cheap because he's entering his final 6 months, and Paris would want to sell him at least. Otherwise, Arsenal are definitely going to get a squad player towards the start of the next season for a free transfer. So I think yes, for now he could be a very good addition because we don't have any other option, and you can't expect Saka to play as a wing back. You just can't, because defensively, you understand that's too much pressure on the youngster. And if you get a 27-year-old, I think he could be a very good addition to the squad.
Mubi, if you had a choice to bring in 2 players, what positions do you think we need strength in?
Right now, at this minute, we need a center back. That's first priority. We have to get a center back in, because I do not want to see Mustafi keep playing for us. He's shot. I saw his interview yesterday on the channel, as he's talking about the abuse he gets and your stuff. You don't want to see no player get abused. I never want to see that. But I think he has run his time at Arsenal. The mistake just seems to follow him. You look at the Chelsea game that he comes on in the Chelsea game. If that is any other player than Mustafi, for that Chelsea second goal, that second goal does not get scored. It just follows him. It comes to a point where every time he's on the field, you expect something to happen. And I have nothing against him personally, but as a player, he has to go somewhere else. And I hope he goes somewhere else and being the team of the year, FIFA team of the year or something. But it's just not going to happen at Arsenal. So central defender is a priority for me. Also, I would the fact that Bellerin is back in training and he's pretty much good to go. I wouldn't really worry about a fullback, and I don't want to bring the player in. I think they're trying to bring him in because he's free, maybe, or he's going to be cheap. But I'd rather get somebody they're trying to get loan signing. You can see that Arsenal are trying to put all their egg in the basket of Upper Meccano. I really believe that they're going to get him in the summer.
Really?
So they don't want to spend. Yeah, I really think they're going to get him in the summer. They're going to go all out. They're not going to get him in January. You can't make a big purchase like that in January. He's in the Champions League. His team is top of the Bundesliga. He's not going to leave and come to Arsenal now. But I really think that they're going to go back for him in the summer. And I think you're looking at him. You're looking at Saliba. We still have David Luiz. We have Chambers. We have Holden. You still have Socrates have a year left on his contract. I think that's enough central defender that we have. The problem is right now we're short. We're tired. We have to get a defender in right now. Fullback position, I think we can get by without getting that left back, because everything that IG said about him, he loves to get forward. He cannot defend. He scores a lot of goals, whatever it is. We're describing Kolasinac. That's the same problem that we have with Kolasinac. So why go spend money? And this guy is on big wages also. He's at PSG. They bought him from Monaco, and he's on big wages. So now we're going to have another player, which is going to be in the O word category on high wages that we want to get rid of. We can't get rid of him. I'm not going to say the name, but we have a player here that's on high wages that nobody's won, and we can't get rid of him, because the fans don't want him. So
Who's
this guy's going to come in on the same.
I think he's talking about Arsenal number 10.
No, I'm not going to mention the name, but that's the problem that we don't want to panic buy and just go pick up anybody that's out there. This guy is not good defensively. We're not a good team defensively. We don't want a fullback that can get forward and score a hat trick. We need somebody that's gonna be able to come in and shore up that defense. Kolasinac have a slight problem. He's gonna be back, and Saka can cover there. We also see Bellerin coming back. We have Niles. If he has to play over there, he can. Because we see him play left back and play the games on the Arsene Wenger before. So we have players that can fill it. I just don't want us to get tied up with getting another free player on a free transfer, put them on our wages, and then he's a crap player, and then we're stuck with him for the next 3-4 years. We've been through this before. I'd rather just wait. If I have to get 2 players, I need a central defender. I need a central midfielder, because I do think we need a central midfielder. Whether a defensive midfielder or something. Obviously, we've been linked with the Brazilian kid, Bruno. I don't know a lot about it, but from what I saw, I watched a technical breakdown on the channel yesterday, and from what I see about him, he sounds like the type of player that we need. A big player that can pass the ball, a bruiser in midfield. He puts in tackle, he gets forward, he scores goal from long range. Sound like the kind of player that we need. We need somebody that's comfortable beside Lucas Torreira, other than Granit Xhaka. Because I don't have a problem with Granit Xhaka, but he needs some competition. He needs to know that his place is not safe. Right now, we don't really have a player to take Xhaka out of that midfield. Ceballos, nobody knows what's happened to him. He's come back from injury, and he can't even make the bench. I think that Arteta is pretty much want to send him back to Madrid now. So if I have to get 2 players, I need a central midfielder. I need a central defender. This player that's supposed to come over on the free, I would pass on that one, to be honest.
You pass on that. Just one other thing, actually. I know IG wants to say something. IG, one more. Did you say that at one point you would like Lacazette to be Arsenal captain, or was it Holding? I can't remember which one you said it was.
Both of them. I pick both of them. I say either Lacazette or Holding. Yeah, both of them.
Okay. So, IG, you wanted to say something, IG?
Actually, we're linked with another team, and it's from the team that we are going to play in the Europa League. Konstantinos Shimikas. Now, this guy is a fullback and defensively he's done quite good interceptions, good in a defensive reading play. Attacking wise, he's enough to provide an assist. And I think in terms of that, he's a very answer. He's 22 years of age. Quick as well. So I think he could be a very good addition, but he's coming from a Greek league, and his Champions League, I think he had very good performances as well. So he's also linked with Arsenal as well. So if not a 27 injury prone Kurzawa, I think he would be very good.
Okay. Yeah, again, just for the last one, anyone who's just passing by watching us live now or at a later stage, we're going to be uploading this segment of the East Talk on YouTube. Again, I've got the Cannon for the Mafia in the house, Mube Guna, Stan the Man, and of course, IG. Mube, can you give me a prediction for tomorrow's game?
Tomorrow's game, I'm going for 3-1 to the Arsenal. Lacazette with the double. Ozil to finish it off on the counter. You know what I'm saying?
All right, just go again.
Hey, and one more thing. I heard IG said that Xhaka's supposed to be captain tomorrow. But if you remember in the Leeds game, he was also on the field with Ozil, with the rest of the 5 captains or whoever they are. But Lacazette was the captain in that game. So I'm not really sure how that works out because Lacazette captained the team in the Leeds game and Xhaka was playing. So I don't really know how that works out because the game against Leeds, both of them started that game. Aubameyang didn't play, but the captain was Lacazette. So I don't really know the information that you have. I haven't seen it, but if I was to think, I would think that Lacazette would be the captain based on what happened in previous games. So I don't really know. But tomorrow game, 3-1 to the Arsenal. Ozil with the finish. 2 assists or so.
You had to go there, didn't you, Movie? You had to go there.
I've got my answer.
Stan, save the day, man.
I think that we're good for a draw tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that we're good for a draw, but just touching on what Mobe was saying about the captaincy, I was wondering who's going to be the captain in place of Aubameyang, and if it was me, to me, it already looks like that we have a captain. If you watch every game now, we've got the huddle going on, and every time that we do this huddle, there's only one guy doing the talking. That's David Luiz.
David Luiz, yeah.
He's our captain. He might not be wearing the armband, but he's definitely our secret captain. And he's not my favourite player, but the other players seem to respond to him, and that's what you need, right?
Oh dearie me! This captain situation needs to be sorted out, man. Because for me, it's a fiasco.
I just don't think we can give it to Xhaka right now. I just think that his race with the armband is right now.
I would love to see Ozil as a captain.
Say again, IG.
I would love to see Ozil as a captain. At least for once in a while, I would see Mube smiling.
Yeah, but in order for Ozil to be a captain, he'd have to actually turn up.
Oh, Stan!
Hey, Stan, come on now. Since Arteta has been here, it's been like a half game to Ozil. The last game, he didn't play well. But the games before, we got to give credit where credit is due. He's been good. Arteta has come in. He has been good. I criticize. Listen, Stan, we haven't been on the show together before. I praise Ozil. He's. I'm not gonna lie. Him and Lacazette are my favorite player at Arsenal. Everybody knows that. But when he has a bad game, I do criticize him when he has a bad game, and he has had a bad few seasons. Yo, Agi, don't you start. I do criticize him when he has a bad game. But since Arteta has come in, he's been pretty good. You have to give it to him. He's been pretty good since Arteta has come in.
Okay, so you don't want to come to my street party then? Is that what you're doing? Just for those that
I'll bring the Anderson with my Ozil jersey on. I got plenty of them, all different colors.
For those of you who don't get that, when the day opens, I've already told the guys that I will be holding the biggest street party Vancouver has ever seen. We're talking jugglers, fire eaters, elephants, clowns, jelly, bunting. Me on the wheels of steel. It's going to be a good one, right? So be there or be square.
You're gonna get a dreadlock so we give him a contract extension for 2 years.
Exactly. but yeah, I would give the armband to David Luiz, man. He's captain material.
Serious, yeah.
He's the one doing all the talking in the huddle, and they're
yeah.
loving it. All the players, even Aubameyang, who's wearing the armband, is locked in.
Exactly, yeah.
He's locked in. So,
Stan, if I can ask you one question. I think people wearing Ozil jersey, are they allowed?
say again.
People wearing Ozil jersey, are they allowed in your party?
If people in Ozil jerseys are they allowed into my party?
I guess I can't go in there. Huh?
Oh dear.
I'm gonna make sure your name's down on the door so you can't come in.
We have a party outside now, but it's gonna be we have a party outside. Don't worry about it. I got plenty of energy. Trust me. You're an alcoholic assistant. You do anything. Trust me.
Oh dear. Mube, how much money did we raise, man? Every time we mention, Mesut Ozil, how much money have we raised in the end, man?
IG the one that owes. He's in the hole. He's been on it.
I think we're raised enough to have a party, Stan. Are you?
Yeah. IG's in the hole.
I just want to put it out there. Stan, wherever you have the party, I'm going to be there. But anyway, that's a different issue.
Mate, you're VIP.
Oh, cheers, man. Thank you.
I see how it is on this chat.
Listen, guys, I'm going to call this segment of the Easy Talk Bite Size to an end. It's been a blast having the Cannon Pro TV Mafia together for the first time, man. You know what I mean? Mube, Bloodfire.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We're here. Appreciate you guys as always, man. Big up.
Nice one. IG's in the house. IG. Always a pleasure.
And when we've got Mube, we got to talk about Arsenal number 10.
Oh, Stan the man, save the day, please, man.
Thanks for having me on. And listen, to all those listening, if you want to catch our post-match reactions, Gooner in Vancouver, check them out on Cannon for the TV, and they usually go up within 24 hours after the game.
There you go. Listen, if you guys have been wondering who or what you've been watching a whole load of laughter on Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And let's hope for a win tomorrow against Sheffield United. Breaking news.